You're listening to the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast, brought to you in part by the Gumball Head Sobriety Society and generous listeners just like you. For the latest updates, check out the link in our bio.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Gumball Head, dropping in on the Wednesday morning Road Rants edition of the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast. It is Wednesday, as a matter of fact, and it is the 30th of April, 2025. A balmy 55 degrees outside here in Ohio. However, it is beautiful out. Traffic reporting, if you are 275 northbound, just plan on being late. That's all there is to it. Don't know what's going on here, but shit sucks, and that's the way it is. So, guys, I woke up this morning, and I had a lot on my mind. I had, some stuff on my mind about work, some stuff on my mind about hashtag Rennie Talk and his upcoming doctor visits. Yesterday, I went to the doctor, and we went over my lab results, and it's ironic how nowadays doctors feel as if they can be a little loose with their lips and unprofessional when it comes to some conversations that they have. Now, I've been to the doctor a lot in my life. I suffer from a thyroid condition called Hashimoto thyroiditis. It's an autoimmune disease that affects my thyroid. It affects the hormones in my thyroid. It affects how much hormone dumps into my thyroid and tells my body when and what to do as far as breaking down the enzymes in my food. And it's been a lifelong battle with obesity for me. And I weighed in yesterday, and I was not surprised to see what the weight was. But on the other hand, I was like, wow, I have come a long way in the last few years as far as my weight goes. Now, since 2022, I've lost 138 pounds, which is a substantial amount. Now, previously, I had lost that weight over the period of I'd lost 100 pounds in 1 year, a few years back when I was getting ready to go to all the academies and going through school. I wanted to do fire academy. I wanted to do police academy. So I lost a substantial amount of weight. I've since then gained back, weight plus some. So I had went from 200 pounds in 2000 and let's say, I'm just going to say it for easy numbers, 2015. I was 200 pounds. 2022, I was 458 pounds, 448 pounds. Somewhere in there, and recently I just weighed in just over 300. So I'm a big guy. There's no denying that. There's no hiding that. You can look at me and tell that I am a heavy set dude. But overall, my weight has always been a factor in my life. And 2 weeks ago, I went into the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Hey, we're gonna check you out, and we're gonna have you get your labs drawn, and this and that and the other thing." Well, I went into the doctor yesterday, and the doctor looked at me, and she just kind of shook her head, and I was like, what's the matter? And she goes, "Your labs." And I'm like, uh-oh. I figure, well, maybe cancer's back, or maybe there's this, or maybe there's that. And she was like, "I don't understand how you're so healthy." I said, "Wait, what?" She said, "I don't understand how you're so healthy. You're fat. You've had a long history, a medical history of addiction. You've had, surgeries, and you're heavy. And, I don't understand. You're hypertensive. My blood pressure is high. I'm in my late 40s. I mean, of course, my blood pressure is going to be high. I've been through a lot of stress in my life. But she's like, overall, you're a very healthy guy. I have no risk of prediabetes. My platelet counts look good. My A1C levels look good. My hemoglobin looks good. All of my statistics look amazing." She even said that. She's like, "But I can't believe it because you're fat." That's the second time in that meeting that she had said I was fat. Now, to me, I've heard it my whole life, so it's just kind of part of things. But it's a good motivator to get me to move, get me up and get me going. But I just don't understand how the professionalism has declined so much to where people can just say that. Now, whenever I was writing reports as a paramedic, or as an EMT rather, I would say morbid obesity, or I would say obesity, or I would say, heft. I would never use the term fat, even though that's what it is. But this doctor had mentioned that multiple times throughout our visit yesterday, And I'm not saying anything to condemn my doctor. My doctor probably sees 100 patients a day, goes through this on a regular basis, and has that comfort level with me. And this is a brand new doctor to me. But to hear somebody say that, I just wonder, what if the mindset was different for somebody else, and you said that, and they left and they had some mental health issues that were attached to that? What if, this and that and the other thing? She was like, you need to lose some weight. Well, it seemed to have fallen on deaf ears when I had said multiple times I've lost over 130 pounds in the last 2 years, where she just didn't listen to me. The reason why I'm healthy is because my wife takes good care of me. She feeds me very well, and for the most part, our meals are healthy. I do have some water retention. Some of that has to do with the sodium-potassium pump in my heart, and some of that has to do with my life choices when it comes to what I put into my body. But to hear somebody just boldly and blatantly say you're fat, that's pretty disrespectful in this day and age. And it kind of dawned on me a little bit. How are people suffering from that, at 14 years old? What if that doctor were to say to a 14-year-old girl, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're intelligent, your labs look great, but you're fat? Now, it affects people in different ways, and it affects different people in different ways. But to hear you're fat is, kind of shitty. So I'm not dwelling on that so much of the fact that it bothers me, because it doesn't. I mean, it does to an extent, but I'm not going to let it ruin my day. I know I'm fat. I've been this way my entire life. I've got size. I'm a big dude. That's life. And it has curated a substantial amount of mental health history in the past, but never so much to pull me into a depression just because of my size. But again, that's strength. That's wisdom that comes with experience. That comes with a fluctuating weight capacity, to where 1 year I could be in extremely good shape, very healthy, physically fit, and then the next year grow, to an insurmountable amount of size. And that's happened to me. I've fluctuated multiple times in my lifetime in my body composure, my body composition. There we go, big word there. So I just kind of scratched my head a little bit about that this morning. Now, getting ready for work, I was kind of thinking about that a little bit. And I was like, wow, this world has come to a fact where, we're not held accountable for the things that we say. And I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble or upset anybody or, point the finger at a doctor, but it's just not something that we say. And working in the career that I do, there are a lot of different cultures, and some cultures are just, blatant and straight to the point. I've recently had interaction with people that have said things such as, I'm this race, and that race has more, likelihood to commit crime, so I don't know why you're having to look into our background. Well, the thing about it is rules are rules, man, and we have to follow rules in the company that I work for. We have to follow rules in the things that we do, and, there's not really any way we can get around it, because there are laws involved, and we have to live by the fair housing laws. We have to follow, morals and ethics. We have to do this and that, and we have to make sure that we don't single anyone out because of the possibility of reciprocity of lawsuits and, he said, she said. Now, in this day and age, people seem to focus on the physical attributes of people still. It's always been that way, but a majority of the people don't look at what that person has to offer you. And when I say what that person has to offer you, I've investigated multiple times in the past, looking at somebody and just saying, hey, this person has been through this person's been through that, this person's dealt with this, and it's confused me in the past of a lot of situations where people, go through changes in their life that they're trying to do, and they think that it's going to make themselves feel better. On the other side of things, if you don't feel comfortable in the skin that you're in, and if you don't feel good in what you look like, then that does weigh heavily on mental health. It always will weigh heavily on mental health. It will always weigh heavily on the way that you feel about yourself and the way that you present yourself. If you go to a wedding and you wear blue jeans and a t-shirt, you're going to look out of sorts as a result of the way that you're dressed. Well, if everybody's wearing suits and everybody's wearing ties and everybody's wearing dresses, you're not going to look right, so you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. But imagine being fat and going to an amusement park and getting on a roller coaster. How much does that affect your mental health? I saw a video on social media the other day where a woman climbed onto the Tron ride at an amusement park, and it was the Tron light bike, and the machine finally closed on her, and she's like, wow, this is the first time I've ever been able to get on this ride because of my size. And I just I had that little tickle in my chest to where, wow, I'm really proud of you. I never looked at her and was like, wow, fat ass. I never thought anything negative of her. I was super proud. And I don't think that we take that compassion and that joy and that empathy to people anymore. And I think that social media has definitely hardened that artery inside our heads because of the fact that we're so used to seeing condemnation and damning of people. But on the flip side of things, we don't also understand how much that affects other people in this outside world. So we just need to be better people overall, and of course this is a situation where I was the one that was shamed. I was fat shamed by a medical professional, but it doesn't matter to me so much. It just matters to me in the fact that I know that it affects people's mental health. I know that it affects people out there, and we just need to be more kind. What does my size have to do with anything that has to do with you? What does my size have to do with anything that, and it's not like she was insulting me intentionally. She was just pointing out the facts. But obesity is a better word than fat, or heft is a better word, or size, or, body composition, or body integrity, or, however you want to say it. But people that hear that you're fat their entire lives are the ones that suffer and struggle with the terminology of being fat your entire life. So just be mindful of that. Now, we have some guests coming up on our podcast this weekend. We'll be recording with our new favorite female vocalist band, Forge the Sun. We're really looking forward to that interview. We've been interacting with them a lot lately on social media, promoting them a lot lately on social media, promoting the interview. We're really looking forward to doing this interview. I'm really looking forward to doing this interview. And we're also going to be doing an interview with hashtag Rennie Talk. Rennie Talk is our 5-year-old son. He is a clubfoot baby, and he was born with an extreme case of bilateral club feet. Not to discount the plug for Forge the Sun. We're really looking forward to them, but hashtag Rennie Talk has been around for a long time on social media, the last couple of years, and people have grown to love him and enjoy the videos that have him in it, and they've seen his clubfoot journey, and it's time to start documenting Rennie Talk's clubfoot journey. We are about to embark on another series of surgeries, another financial endeavor that we're about to embark on. And just sitting back and looking at his growth over the years has really brought a lot of pride to me, not just as a dad, but to see the medical miracles that are out there, and the possibility and capabilities of correcting something that is such a medical defeat. And he has rebounded and overcome that, and he is just full of joy, full of love, full of happiness. And this is not but being biased. Anybody that knows Rennie Talk, anybody that's seen him, knows that for the most part, he's always happy. He loves his life. He loves what he does. He loves his involvement in society. He loves the way that people are and the way that people act. And he's just one of those beautiful human beings that has such a beautiful soul. And last night he played with his sisters yesterday, and he was a good kid all day long, and snuggled up to me last night as we listened to my road rant from yesterday, and just kind of listened to me promoting him. And I'm not trying to do that right now. What I want to promote is that awareness, that clubfoot awareness, because a lot of people are like, oh, okay, well, your dad's fat, but you've got a fucked up foot. Well, yep, he sure does. And guess what? We call them the special feet because they are special feet. We bring the attention to him and the fact that, we don't bring that negativity, and we shouldn't, and we won't as parents, as parents to him, because we have to be confident of his mind, but we also have to ensure that he is aware of what's going on inside his shoes. He has to be aware of what's going on inside of his life, because his behavior and his activities throughout the day affect him in the evenings, whereas he has, leg cramps and they're sore and he's tired and his feet hurt, but he's trying to sleep. So we all have that in us, some sort of ailment that causes us to ache and causes us pain and causes us discomfort and causes us to behave a certain kind of way. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So Rainbow Cat, his recovery program for kids, we're going to be promoting that. We're going to be talking about his club feet. We're going to be talking about Mocha, his cat. And we're going to be talking about some of the cool things that he's done, his artwork. We're going to be promoting his artwork. We're going to be doing some sticker sales to kind of help us offset some of the things that we have to deal with on a regular basis when it comes to payouts. We're also going to be interviewing Forge to the Sun, like I said, and we're going to be showcasing their music and their upcoming concerts and shows that they have scheduled. And we're going to talk about some other stuff too on our podcast, but stay tuned over the course of the weekend. Most recent video on TikTok was the promo video for Forge the Sun. If you guys want to advertise with us, feel free to reach out to us here is the website or the email address, normalisn'tnecessarypodcast@gmail.com. You can go to podbean.com/heardbythenerd. That is one way to just kind of slip in there, throw your advertisements in. You don't have to negotiate anything. You go in, you check out what they have, the packages that they have to offer. It'll automatically put your advertisements into our Podbean. The other option is contact us at normalisn'tnecessarypodcast@gmail.com and send us an email. We'll discuss some promotional packages with you as well. And if you're listening to us on any other platform, and I found out last night, we are officially on iHeartRadio, Pandora, we are on Spotify, we are on so many different platforms. We're working very hard to make this thing a go. Let us know where you're listening to us at. Whatever platform you're on, drop us a comment. Drop us a comment. Let us know that you're listening to us, what platform you're listening to us on, and, what you think of our podcast. But until then, until our paths cross, stay strong, stay focused, stay sober. Much love, guys. We'll see you all soon.